So in all your time in the church here, have they ever done anything like this?
No!
No, not that I can remember.
I'm actually surprised they got this much together. It's pretty decent. I like it.
When we originally thought about the idea, I honestly thought it was just an idea that was maybe a one-day venture. I didn't actually think we were actually going to do it.
I guess I had in my mind it was sort of like one of our other projects we've done before, which are, they're still pretty big, but they're just a little bit less involved.
Well, I guess I had a bit of an idea, but not like this. This is awesome. I mean, we've got fire here, ambulance, police, we've got caterpillars moving cars around. It's absolutely intense, actually. Yeah, it's funny, you have an idea in your head and then to actually see it is pretty amazing.
I think we're setting the bar really high. Next year should be interesting.
It's gonna go cool.
I think it's gonna be different.
I don't know. I don't know what I was getting into. Just happy to be a part of it. It's cool.
Glad how it's turning out?
Yeah, it never goes as you plan, but it's really cool. It's really cool.
The reality of this, what I love, is that we've all done video shoots in the past, and we've done elements of that, but nothing to this level. I mean, Scott, you've done most of it, and I mean, arranging with city and permits and you know, dealing with police officers and police chiefs and fire chiefs and
the crazy part about that was from the time that we thought about the idea to the time we were actually trying to organize this shoot, it was insane. Actually, the truth be told, it was almost miraculous. The fact that we were able to...
It was
nothing
short of a miracle. Well, you think about it, we literally got our film permit at 4:28 on Friday afternoon. And the government or the office is closed here in the city at 4:30.
After we had called just the day before our insurance company saying, we need insurance for this permit that we need tomorrow, and so we need you to fax us today.
And we were shooting that Sunday night.
We're shooting Sunday night. We need our insurance documents saying we're covered for insurance. The fact that it all lined up
is amazing. I think for me, the biggest technical challenge was prior to the shoot. There was a piece of equipment, it's a slider, and you'll notice in some of the shots you see the camera actually moves, and I was like, we just have to have this piece of equipment. And so I called the company who is way down in the States, and they have just released it, and they're back ordered to almost May. And they literally said, no, there's nothing we could do, there's nothing we could do. And I begged them, and they literally sold us their prototype.
The other miracle, and I totally forgot about to say, was even the fact we had an 8-day-old baby. Like an 8, you know. And I think when we were actually shooting Andrew Warden, I think he was actually like maybe 12 days old.
So how do you guys feel having your child have like a huge representation in a film like this?
Maybe it'll be indicative of his future success. I don't know.
No, he's gonna play hockey.
Oh.
and it was just exciting to have this newborn baby. You know, we didn't have to use the Cabbage Patch doll, which was a miracle. Really nice. But that was awesome. That added a huge element, obviously, a major element to the piece.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Scott and the guys did amazing, and I was just a small part of it, which is an interesting role for me. Yeah, I think it went as well as can be expected. In the amount of time that we put ourselves under, I mean, I think we learned a lot, and I think really, when you think about what was accomplished in 2 days, it's miraculous. And so we'll just see when all the pieces come together. That's when we'll know. So now we just need to pray that this will be an anointed video. It'll be more than just a cool story.
Okay. This is so exciting! Truthfully, it was a stress nightmare, but we had a great team of people. Scott did a great job of making all the logistics with the city come to life, but we have a good team of people that all work together to make this thing work. So, it was an aneurysm and an ulcer waiting to happen, but hey, you don't know until you try, right? You don't know if you can do it until you try, so it's exciting. It's super exciting.
So for people who are maybe watching this and going, well, how did you do it? The truth is, it's possible, and so it starts really with a good story and a good script. And so so once we got the key pieces that we wanted to communicate about being born again and what that looks like.
Wanting to know, taking the story that Bill, the scripture, the meat, the message, and how do we creatively communicate that in a way that makes sense? And that's the subtlety of it, is that you have one story here, you have another story here, but yet they're different, but yet they intertwine. So once we figured out what we're trying to communicate,
Then we just asked, how are we going to communicate that?
Yeah.
And that's where the story of the couple, the husband and wife, going through that process of pregnancy, going through that process of the tragedy, into the process of decision.
Right now they're just shooting the scene where the car accident just happened, and everyone's all bloody and gory, and the cops are all here, and we're just hoping to get it all done before the firefighters get called out on a real call. So hopefully we can get it all in time, but it's pretty exciting.
And if you're wondering what we kind of used for production, we shot everything 35mm HD. So we did 35mm adapters to our HD cameras, and then we used all Nikon primes on the front of our cameras, just to get that kind of film look to what we were doing. Our lighting was just soft boxes, Lowell soft boxes, and wherever we could use them we could, because we were just running around. That's all we had to work with.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what the final product's going to look like, eh? And you kind of try to imagine it as you look through the camera, but when you put all the elements together and you put all the music in the background and Bill speaking, and I think it's going to come together.
This week, I've never had to coordinate anything like with the city or police and fire services and all that sort of stuff. I've never made so many phone calls before in my life. One day I actually made 89 phone calls off my BlackBerry. And that was just one day this past week. It's been a crazy couple days, that's for sure.
But you did it.
Well, sort of.
No, it was just a great experience working with Dave and Jessica at the 17-0. People who don't go to our church, they're pastors in Toronto, and called them up and asked them if they'd be part of it, and they were willing to do it. And actually surprised us, actually did a great job.
One of those things that you just, you're not sure why you said yes to.
Do we want to blow clear on the cart on the glass?
I was just telling that a week ago, they didn't even know this was going to be happening, and now they're in this car in a massive accident with blood dripping out of their face. It's awesome.
Right over there. Right where the ambulance is. Over by this sign, so you're out of the shot. Okay. Okay?
So do you regret signing up for this yet?
I don't feel so hot right now.
I thought Dave and Jess did a great job. I think when they showed up at your house, literally 10 minutes before we started filming,
they had no idea.
They had no idea what they were getting into. And we literally took them into your kitchen, and we sat them down, and we were explaining to them what they're doing. And I think they were completely overwhelmed, and I think apprehensive, but they did a great job.
Well, we never read the script, and we just heard the purpose tonight. So yeah, I mean, when we sat here, I think it's good. It's really going to resonate with people, I think.
And so that's what you're basically doing is shooting the B-roll or the story that's behind the story.
But yeah, that was great. But it was awesome seeing our own people and just seeing the our own nurses and our own people step into the role and just buy into it. It was a supernatural process.
Well, and even Judy, we have Judy and Jerry, and they're part of our church, and they help us with all the designs and stage props and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, she got so into it. I mean, the scars look so good, and the blood and the maple syrup.
Actually, you do look pretty bad. That does look pretty bad. It's amazing what a little bit of rubber glue and blood can do.
Hey, it looks like you spilled something on yourself.
Yes, ketchup. I have an addiction to French fries and ketchup.
We got to tell the story behind the scenes that nobody knows. So she makes the blood, but she took it home and didn't think about pressure. So 3 o'clock one morning, they hear this explosion in this room, and they go into the room, and fake blood is smeared all over their walls. It was awesome.
It blew actually because it was in the top drawer. It actually blew the face off the drawer.
No, but like you said, like all the volunteers, the commitment to excellence at every detail. Every detail. Like even the food services, everybody was there. It was really a team win. There was this idea that we were in this together. It was more than just a video shoot.
Okay.
When you start looking at how many people, and I started tabulating how many people it actually took, we're dealing with almost 100 people
to make this happen.
To make this really work, between all the volunteers, between our staff that went over and above, you know, Greg Burns trying to get all the generators just even for power. Like, how do we get power in the middle of the street? And, Rob Robbins helping us out with video, lighting equipment. Like, just when you think about all the people who work together to make this one event possible, like, that's when the family comes together, and it's truly exciting.
We'll just say thank you to all of our volunteers.
Yeah.
Because I was really, 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 really overwhelmed and thankful for people who came out and helped.
Even the wreckers, you know, we got these 2 cars that looked totally nice, and then he smashes them up for us for free, and brings them to us, and you know, just little things like that. Like, how do you? There's just so many pieces, so many stories, so many elements, and that made this video shoot possible.
Yep,
all for 15 minutes.
The shoot has been a lot of fun. It's been overwhelming. I could not have done it alone. Had a lot of help, but it's been good.
But Sunday night was really fun, actually working with our local fire department, working with our paramedics who just came off a 12-hour shift and they were tired, but they wouldn't stop smiling.
So when you guys are learning to become firefighters, is acting in your part of your program?
Absolutely not.
How often do you guys get called out to do this kind of thing?
Usually about 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah?
The last time was in Montebello Park, where the guys did a movie shoot last summer.
Okay, how do they rope you into doing this?
We're on duty, so we're ordered to. Chief's orders.
The fact that everyone was happy to be there, and on such short notice, and the fire department, they were all on call, and thank God, again, they didn't get a call. The police, I mean, we had Vince there as one of our own, and
Usually I'm on the other end, just blocking off traffic. It's good to see, you know, it's neat to see all the stuff that goes to, that's involved in setting up one scene, so it's nice to see the other end of it.
our hats off to our local fire department, our police, and our paramedics who all stepped up on such short notice.
Absolutely.
And went above and beyond and to really help us out. And that really helped with the authenticity of that shoot.
I think I speak for all of us when we say there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
A lot of work that goes into it, and the only reason that we invest the time is not for a cool camera shot. It's not for some glorifying production moment. It's to see people get to know Christ in a way that maybe they never knew him before. And so we hope that all that work translates into that.
We were talking about what the theme should be, and we came up with this, the one word, the catchphrase really was born again. So really we were starting to unpack that. What does that mean? Because most people have no clue. Well, and I think the big thing too is we're trying to figure out how to portray sacrifice in the middle of being born again, remember? Because I thought, okay, well you do a woman giving birth, and that's the born again part of it, but you don't have the cost of Easter. So how do you portray the sacrifice component mixed with the born again metaphor?
Mm-hmm. We're telling a creative story, like it's telling a story underneath the story. So the basic is this young couple, they find out she's pregnant, they're all excited through the whole thing, rushing to the hospital, he gets distracted, she gets hit in the car accident. So then they rush to the hospital, they have to make a choice. The doctor leans over and says, like, we can't save you both. So in that moment, she makes the decision.
Oh, I hate that show. I hate movies like that.
Yeah. Yeah, really. So, but that's the whole point of Easter. That's the story, right?
Somebody had to die.
Somebody had to make a choice, and it was a choice. So so it's kind of underneath the story.
And so Jesus gives Nicodemus the simple answer. Yes, Nicodemus, there is something more. It's called the family of God. Jesus describes this reality where bodies are healthy, relationships are whole, and minds are free from anxiety. There's that one scene where Aaron and I we're kind of behind the scene, and we're behind this curtain so we don't distract the actors. But it's a scene where he says to his wife, "So you know," and she responds, "Yes, save the baby." And I hope that somehow the emotion of that moment gets translated on video, because Aaron and I felt like a little baby, because I'm just bawling, because it hits me. In that moment, it was far beyond just acting. Mm-hmm. It was because this story is rooted in an absolute truth.
Whenever I try to make a film, we try to make something that people can relate to and get. And I think we've all been in a circumstance, or at least know someone who's been in a circumstance where you've been in a hospital, you've been waiting, there's, on some level, I think that everybody can relate to the story.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's cool, because that triggered something too, because there's a story within the story. for us also, the husband in the waiting room was a critical piece for us. Because all of us, when we look at tragedy and we look at sin, there are times where we are like stuck in the waiting room of life, where we're thinking to ourselves, what's going on? Why am I going through this? God, where are you? And it feels like nothing's happening. And then in that final scene where he's holding the baby, it's the answer. It's not the answer we expect. Like, we don't expect God to answer by going, okay, I'll die for you.
And I guess we were trying to communicate the concept that God loved us. And again, we explore that word attached. It's like a mother being attached to this child. He attached himself to us. And when sin's price needed to be paid, God was willing to sacrifice himself so we could live.
I'm going to send it to my son out west because I think it's going to be a great outreach tool. Yeah.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, I guess, for all of us, I think we'd all be in agreement to just say, at the end of the day, we did this for God. And we hope that those who come or see this, maybe you're watching it online or at home, and we just want you to know that there's a God who passionately loves you. And so if we will have been a success if that message comes through.
To even one.
To even just one. And so maybe that one is you. That there's a God who actually really, really loves you so much that he died for you. And that's what it means to be born again. You get a new start, a brand new beginning. And nothing is better than that because we all need it.